So we're filming this way today. Welcome to Tattoo Tabletop. My name is James, and now you might notice that the setup here is a little different, and that's because we are having some gear trouble. So I'm just going to film on my phone. We're just going to make it what it is. Today we are doing the Tampa Open summary. I know I have delayed this. I have been, well, I've just been lazy, let's be real. But essentially what we're going to do here is we're going to recap the Tampa Open, what happened, how did I do, the whole 9 yards. Let's keep it nice and short and let's get into it. So number one, how did I do? I went 3-2. So I went positive. This was my very first Age of Sigmar GT. It was my very first Games Workshop event, and it was a blast. I had a great time. I had a great group of people that I went with, that I ended up hanging out with, and I had the lovely support of my fiance, which was fantastic. She hung out with us a little bit later in the evening, but let's just dive right into it. Match number one was Hedon Knights of Slaanesh. Now, I have been Slaaneshed before, and it is terrifying. They hurt, but I managed to pull off the win by doing a series of just picking my engagements and really just timing everything out. I used my ranged abilities to target units that I knew would hurt me and that I knew I could hurt in return. At the end of the day, I ended up placing myself in enough positions to actually even deny him on primary. Towards the tail end of the game, we were kind of duking it out with a slugfest on, I can't remember his name, but the dude who looks like Xerxes from 300. That guy. I fought that guy. And basically, I took away the win. It was a big win, and the fact that it was 31-4 at the end of it, but the game was a lot closer than the score actually appeared, which was, he was a great opponent. Absolutely adored him, and he had a super cool army. He had like liquid silver on all of his medals, and he had like cool little treasure bases on all of his models. Incredible opponent, incredible game. So after that, we moved on to round number 2, where we fought Maggotkin of Nurgle. Now this one I faced off against before. This one I fought because my cousin, who I played very regularly with last year when I was working overnights, he played Maggotkin of Nurgle, so I really became accustomed and familiar with their mechanics. He had a Glotkin, so that was super cool to see. Very casual player, but very nice dude, and we had a phenomenal game. It was a lot of fun. My turtle took out his Glotkin, and we just had like a lot of fun playing that game. At the end of it, I came away with the win, 28-20. Still a very close game. It was just I managed to deny a couple battle tactics, and I managed to kind of keep him off the primary a little bit, kind of kept him spread by using my movement, and it worked very well. Round number 3 on day 1. We finally took our first loss. It was against the person who actually placed third, so I can't be that mad about it at all. But essentially, I faced off against Chris Schelling, who was playing the new Regiment of Renown, the King Broad style, King Broad March, whatever it is. He kicked terrain at me, and he even did the lovely rolls of 4-up, and it does 46 mortal wounds, and he just punted my Alpex back to the sea from whence it came. The game was brutal. He caught me very early. I just didn't use my movement great, and it was really hard with that kind of deployment to kind of move past him or to try and sneak around him, because he had enough Sons of Behemoth, enough Gargants to actually form this nice little line, giving himself the wards, so any damage I did do was getting warded. It was brutal. I had 6 points at the end. I think he scored 28. It was a massive victory for him. On the last day, we went into the last 2 rounds. Now, at this point, just to be fully transparent, so they didn't do the paint parade at the usual time that they did. So my hope again was that I was going to go for best overall, which is pairing points with painting points. I bought my Oddnet Deepkin because they're a very pretty army. I like to think they look really good. They did the judging at the end of round 3, and I kind of kept waiting, and then eventually I asked one of the judges, and I said, hey, did we, is the paint parade judging done? And he's like, yep, if you didn't get a card, you didn't get it. So unfortunately I didn't make it. I took a look at the paint parade. There was a lot of incredible armies there, a lot of incredible painters. Shout out to DewyJ. He made the cut again like he had previously, because he actually already has a golden ticket. Again, congratulations to him. Lovely man. And so he made the cut again, but I didn't make it. So the dream was already looking a little rough. I knew that at the beginning of day 2, I needed to win my first game. That's what I needed to do to keep this going. I did not win that game. Again, very lovely opponent. He actually was very methodical, thought out a lot of his moves really well. I went into Fire Slayers, Lofnir Fire Slayers, and he had Magma Droths out the wazoo. But fortunately, at least, fortunately in his case, I tried to keep myself deployed back, tried to keep myself further away because I knew that those Magma Dross moved really quickly. But he made some really big moves. He picked his rune that gave him an additional 2 movement, and then he made some very massive charges. Immediately tagged up a lot of my units, and of course, my army likes to do combat in melee, and Magma Dross bleed that volcanic blood, bleed those mortal wounds all over the place, and Idoneth Deepkin have no real wards to speak of right now. So even when I was doing damage to him, he was doing damage back to me. He warded a lot. He just pinned me right away in my deployment zone, and it was Dunza. Again, very lovely person, and actually I found out that his kid was there with him competing and painted his Fire Slayers, and they looked incredible. I went over to his son and actually told him I loved his models. He had very cool Kotal's Claw Seraphon, and that was super sick, so really, really nice to meet him there. Last match, we're there. We're 2-2. Final battle, we got Gloomspite Gets. Now, I had been Gloomspite Gitted, as you can recall from 2 videos ago? 1 video ago. However long it was. And I'd gotten caught, I'd gotten mortal wounded, I'd gotten pinned, and it was game over. So this was a match that I was absolutely afraid of. And it was an absolute slogfest. He moved up, and then I moved up, then he seized priority, and he just started boxing me in. It was coming. Failed a couple charges, but made some really big ones. I just tried to make this giant L shape to bring everything in, and I managed to pile in some sharks. Before I knew it, we were just having this absolute slogfest, and especially when he was having, I believe it was King Broad, or it was one of the other large trolls, who was just impossible to chew through. Every time I kept chewing through him, he healed back. Chew through him, he heals back. Eventually managed to actually kill him, take him out of the game, which was his grand strategy, so that was huge to actually take that out. I mean, it was such a close game. It was a nail-biter. We both were just rolling back and forth. We were laughing, joking, just chilling and having a great time, which is exactly what these events should be, as competitive as they can be. You just gotta laugh at things. You just gotta smile through it. He was an amazing, amazing, amazing opponent, and it was the best way to end it, and I did take home the win. Very, very narrowly. I believe it was just my grand strategy that actually won me the points, so just by 3 points. Incredible game. All right, what are my thoughts? Number 1, I would absolutely go to another GW event this next year. I had a blast. The staff was super nice. The judges were super cool. They were easy to talk to. There was plenty of spaces for the tables. Like, you actually had space between your table and the next table, and you had like actual spots to like sit. You weren't running into each other all the time, bumping up against each other. You had plenty of space. It was incredible. You could set your stuff down. My last event prior to this was at this like kind of scale was LVO, and all the tables are all packed together. You're literally running into everybody all the time, and there's nowhere to set your stuff. It's brutal. So to say this, GW Tampa crushed it, absolutely loved it, would go again. I did participate in some retail therapy after the Fire Slayer reckoning I had, and I picked up I believe more Rekkas for my Iron Jaws, and I picked up another Big Pig, so those got added, and I picked up 2 War Chantas. I did also get to meet the store owner of Warpfire, Jordan. He was incredible. He was super, super nice. I told him his store actually saved me. I got my Morsar garb before I brought to the event, and he was super, super nice. And even when I came over with the GW bag full of stuff, I was like, yeah, I had to participate in some retail therapy, and he's just like right in front of my face. So he started messing with me. All in all, lovely, lovely man. Takeaway number 2, this community is incredible. Just flat out. It's so amazing to see all these people who come together and participate in this one thing. And the thing that really got me is there was a lot of fathers and sons at least on the Age of Sigmar side, and that was incredible to see. To go up to an opponent, whether you're playing a son or a father, and just like, oh, I'm here with my kid, he got into this, and I decided, I'll spend a couple $100, pick up some of these models, and I'll play with him. That is so wholesome to me, because I remember playing Army Men with my dad, and that was cheap as chips, essentially. I don't know why I just used an English phrase for that, but I did. Basically, you just had army men. We set them up on like our stair landing, and you took a little ping pong ball, and you just we took turns throwing the ball to try and knock them off or knock them down. It's just those little wholesome things that are just absolutely incredible to see, and it was so heartwarming to see, and they were all phenomenal. That's the other takeaway. Takeaway number 3. Every single one of my opponents was incredible to play against. They were super, super nice, super, we just talked. We talked and we hung out. That's what takes away a lot of the anxiety and a lot of the stress of going to these events, is when you have these opponents that you can just talk to, that you can engage with, and just have fun rolling dice. You can still play this game competitively. You can still have this mindset of I'm here to win, I'm here to get results, but still have a good time with your opponent. And that's worth its weight in gold. That's what takes the anxiety and the kind of exhaustion out of these events. When you go to some of these events, it feels like a slog. You're standing, you're arching your back for a long time. It's a long day. My first day was about 12 to 13 hours, and then we had to go and get dinner after, and even just walking for dinner felt exhausting. But again, had my group that I went down with, the Forge Icy Dice group, and they were all super nice. We all caught up with each other in between for lunches and stuff like that, and it was just a blast. So I also, the last point, 4.4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So last point is I did wear my Vanguard Tactics jersey, and I actually got to meet a lot of really incredible people. So there were people who came and asked me questions like, hey, are you part of the Vanguard Tactics? I've interacted with them. I'm not on the team. Well, I'm on the team, but not on the team. Laser. Sorry, I'm dumb. But no, they asked, and I told them about the academy and stuff like that, and a lot of them, they had questions, and I told them the bits that I knew about the academy, recommended some call coaching, but it was cool to see people from the academy who were playing 40K, either in the casual or in the tournament. They were super cool to see and to talk to everybody. Everyone was just so nice, and it's just the best. It's what makes those things and those trips and those events so much less stressful when everyone's cool and easy to talk to. So absolutely incredible. All in all, like I said, 3-2. Now, what is next? Next, well, 1 second. Next, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I have no clue. I'm actually working on painting on my Iron Jaws army. If you follow my Instagram at Tattoo Tabletop, you see me been painting through those. It was October, had to paint them. I still got more coming that I'm working on. And we have a local bigger GT called Renegade coming up here very soon in the next 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And I will be participating in that. So I might be doing Age of Sigmar. I might be doing 40K. They did open up a few more spots with Age of Sigmar, and I might try and push my luck. Let's see how I can do. I did 3-2 at a massive Games Workshop tournament. Maybe I can do a little bit better here, or maybe I do absolutely worse, because I know that there's a lot of phenomenal Age of Sigmar players here in Minnesota. So we're just going to keep it going. I think that just about does it. So thank you for any of those that are watching this. I'm sorry that this isn't on the super nice camera. I hope that this works and sounds okay. And yeah, I'm going to try not to make a thing of it, but I just felt like I needed to get something out, record something, put this out there for you. So this is the best way I could do it, is just film it on my phone. So until next time, I'm Tattooed Tabletop. Go paint something.